Welcome to Italy. Around the corner there is the Ducati factory, and I'm about to introduce you to the new Multistrada V4. Check that out. How cool does that look? This is an all-new model for 2021 and Euro 5. So the big talking point is the engine. It's now a V4, not a V-twin. So we're talking 170 horsepower from the V4. It's also got standard conventional valves, not Desmotronic like Ducati have always had throughout the years. The reason for that is they can now put a huge amount of miles on the bike before it needs any servicing. So we're looking at 60,000 kilometers before it needs any work looking at the valves. And also they've also looked at ways of saving money when it comes to servicing the bike. So everything is easily accessible, like the oil filter and things like that. So that's the engine kind of overdone. So the chassis is now the monocoque chassis. So that is a huge weight saving over the old standard chassis. The engine sits slightly higher in the chassis, which means you've got more ground clearance for when you go off-road. And because the intake is high and the exhaust is high, you can go through deeper water, should you want to take your beautiful Ducati through a river. So the big talking point in all the briefing has been the adaptive cruise control, which is controlled by the radar at the front of the bike, which you can see on this model. What that essentially does is it detects what's in front of you when you're on cruise control. So you set your cruise control to 80 miles an hour. Somebody pulls out into the middle lane, the adaptive cruise control slows you down a little bit to the speed of the vehicle in front, and then when you go into the third lane, it'll accelerate automatically back up to the set speed that you set. It's simple and easy to use. The new 6.5-inch dash is huge, and it's so intuitive and so simple to use. I was a little bit afraid, because I'm the wrong side of 40 and technology scares me, that this might be a little bit difficult and intimidating, but it's not. It's dead simple and dead easy to use. It's same with all the riding modes. Very simple, intuitive, easy to understand, easy to use, and easy to tailor to how and way you want to ride. It's got the Skyhook suspension, so the suspension is done automatically. I've thrown everything at this bike today. I've rode it hard, I've rode it soft, we've ridden off-road. Essentially, this is exactly the same model, but with different wheels and the crash protection. Interestingly, when you do go off-road, Ducati have thought about it. They've not just said it's capable. This is more than capable off-road, which is impressive for a 170 horsepower bike. So when you flick it into Enduro, it reduces the power, it reduces the throttle response. You have ABS on the front, no ABS on the rear, but it's the nice little touches that I like. The fact that these mirrors are bent outwards, so when you stood upright, they're not whacking against your forearm. The fact that you can easily remove the rubbers from the pegs, which means you've got loads of grip. It's really slim in this area, so when you stood up, you're not all bow-legged. It feels really natural to ride off-road, even for somebody of my size. Interestingly, the seat is adjustable as well at standard. You don't have to remove bungs or anything like that. You just clip it slightly lower. I'm 5'7" and I've not had a problem with this bike all day long. And if you're taller, there is an aftermarket larger seat, and if you're even shorter than me, there is an aftermarket lower seat. As you'd expect with Ducati, it's riddled with ride aids, cornering ABS, traction control, wheelie control. It has every box ticked. It's all these little touches that I love about this bike. The fact you've got a little cubby hole here to put your phone in for your Bluetooth connectivity. The fact it's keyless ignition. The fact you've got more ground clearance. It's got a 19-inch front wheel now, but it doesn't feel like it. The steering hasn't slowed down. It's 2 kilograms heavier, but miraculously it doesn't feel heavier. It handles so well. This does not feel like a big, aggressive Multistrada with a Panigale engine. Forget that, it's not. This is a usable, everyday bike that you can ride around the town, you can ride off-road, you can ride on the motorway, and when you want to, you can put the hammer down and really have some fun. Hugely impressive bike. We need to put more miles on this bike, which we're going to do when we get the bike on test. We need to put some big miles on this bike, but as a little taste of what's to come, it's hugely impressive from these first impressions.